I also think that Marvel is on this journey now of they're trying a bunch of other stuff, and I'm excited for them to see how all that goes, and it's hard to project.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Marvel just announced a bunch of new things that just got canceled, adding to the pile of dead movies and shows from the last couple of years, so we'll break it all down. It even includes the project Henry Cavill was supposed to be in. Toss a coin to your Witcher, apparently. We literally just found out about the thing he was going to be in a week ago, then boom, all of a sudden they slammed the brakes on it. Henry Cavill seems like one of the busiest people in Hollywood right now with his Warhammer show that he's working on, everybody wanting him to be the new Bond now that Amazon just took over the creative on those movies. Thankfully, that's not the reason why Marvel isn't doing Henry Cavill's thing. They still want him for their movies and TV shows. James Gunn just had Zack Snyder back to DC for some mystery project apparently, so I wouldn't even be surprised if James Gunn also wants Henry Cavill back for something in the next several years too. Whatever winds up happening, Marvel, DC, whatever winds up getting made, of course I will do videos for it. Be sure to enable alerts so you don't miss anything. And a really big reminder, a show that is actually happening that got itself uncancelled by Marvel like Thanos unsnap, Daredevil Born Again episodes in another week. I will be doing episode videos for that. But if you have no idea what's going on, why a ton of stuff just got canceled again, like why it seems like Marvel is suddenly canceling everything left and right like it's a fire sale, everything must go. Marvel's head of TV has been doing interviews for Daredevil Born Again hype, and during those, people have been asking him about the other shows, the projects that were rumored or announced a long time ago, and this is how we're finding out what's been canceled recently, and really good news too on the other side of this coin, a bunch of projects that we didn't know about that they are now actually making. So it's not all bad news, like it's not like everything is being canceled, there's a lot of stuff that still is getting made that we didn't hear about before. He explained Marvel changed the way they make TV shows and movies behind the scenes, adopting a bangers-only policy kind of situation, more like traditional TV networks like HBO when they're developing all the Game of Thrones spin-offs. What they used to do is they would just greenlight stuff wholesale without scripts being completely done, and they just run into all kinds of problems along the way while they were shooting and try to fix it in post, which sometimes works for big movies, but it definitely does not work when you're making a long-running TV show with way more footage. Looking at you, Secret Invasion. You just cannot completely reshoot an entire TV show and then expect it to come in under budget. This is why a lot of Marvel projects during the pandemic, the last couple of years, would be really hit or miss in terms of quality. There are even some shows now that they're waiting to release this year that were made under this old method of them making TV shows. Hopefully them just putting them on the shelf and like trying to polish them over the last couple of years help fix some of the issues that they would have had they aired them a couple years ago. Now though, what they're doing is they're developing way more stuff than actually makes it to air, so Battle Royale style, a bunch of scripts battle it out in development, and only the bangers wind up actually getting filmed and released on screen. But the problem with that is the first example of that is Daredevil Born Again. It's like the first show they made under that policy, the way they make those types of shows. All the other stuff that they're releasing this year was made under the old method. The other reason this brand new stuff got canceled is that the head of Marvel TV said they've also shifted their priority in terms of what types of shows and genres that they're making right now, because anything that goes into production they start filming the next year or so won't actually get finished and released till after Secret Wars, which is the X-Men era, like Mutant Saga, way more X-Men based projects and focus in all the movies and shows. Which I think is a perfect solution to a lot of the problems they've been having the last several years, like just pivot to like the really exciting stuff that they have not touched before. All brand new, but all really popular comic book stuff that people love from back in the day, just they've never done in live action before. Everybody just waiting for more banger X-Men movies and Fantastic Four, stuff that we have not seen in the MCU before. So a lot of these things that got canceled just didn't align with that X-Men focus that are coming the next several years after Secret Wars. There are a couple of exceptions though. It turns out Henry Cavill was up for the role of Annihilus on the Nova series that they stopped making. I was super surprised, would not have expected him to be cast as Annihilus. My assumption is they would have changed the character's appearance enough so that he kind of looks like a comic book Annihilus, but at different points you can still tell that it's Henry Cavill's face, and he doesn't have to sit in a makeup chair for like 10 hours a day just to film scenes, or they can have him wear a helmet, just take it off occasionally to remind you that it is Henry Cavill under that helmet. Not totally surprised that he would also want to play some villains at some point, like Henry Cavill as a villain also works just as much as him playing hero characters too. Zack Snyder had kind of leaned into that during the Justice League Snyder Cut and Justice League 2 and 3, but he was eventually going to turn good, so it wasn't always going to be an evil Superman situation. Most people are confident that this Nova series hasn't been canceled forever and Marvel will just bring it back at some point and start working on it again, but right now, it's not happening. Henry Cavill not going to have any kind of schedule conflict with his new Warhammer show, and if they really want him to be that new Bond for the movies, they'll have plenty of time to do that too. Next big thing that just got canceled was the Doctor Strange TV show called Strange Academy, based on the comic book series they released recently. The way they described this, it was going to be a Wong-led TV show at Camartage in the Sanctum, like they teased at the end of Multiverse of Madness with America Chavez there studying magic. And apparently Marvel was making it to compete with HBO's Harry Potter reboot and do their own version of a magical school kind of story. Just imagine younger characters having similar types of adventures, but in the MCU around that school. The funnier reason why I also think they canceled this is to align more with their X-Men focus after Secret Wars. They started developing an X-Men Academy show based around Xavier's school for gifted youngsters. So basically, they just changed it from a Strange Academy, like magic-based school show competing with Harry Potter, to an X-Men-based school show also competing with that Harry Potter show, but with different types of powers. You can definitely tell that Marvel is going to be rolling really hard on the X-Men brand in the next several years, which I think is a smart move for them, just because they've had so much problems with all this other stuff they've been trying to get off the ground during Phase 4. All the Fantastic Four Power Pack fans out there yelling for them to make a Power Pack TV show now too. There was another mystery show that we learned about through the cancellations, like we only learned about it because they said that they canceled it. It's called Terror Inc., based on the character from the Shadowline imprint of all places, one of Marvel's sub-brands. We're talking about like the most obscure of obscure characters. He was actually part of an early tribe of humans in ancient times. He killed a demon that was hunting his tribe and cursed to assume the demon's form, then making him look like this green monster. Gained the demon's power to merge the limbs of others with his own body, became functionally immortal, and over the years adopted the name Shrek of all things, like you thinking of the Shrek movies, but it was spelled differently like the Germanic Shrek. Later eventually taking the name Terror by the time they get to present day, so it would have been a series set in present day, but it just sounds like it was just way too weird and way too different from what Marvel's direction is heading in the X-Men era of the MCU. My assumption is that it would have been a little bit more like Werewolf by Night, like more pure supernatural side of the MCU with those types of characters and stories. Then another much sadder one, this is actually a bit of a bummer to learn about, we just learned that they're not making Moon Knight Season 2 anymore. It seems like they changed their plans for the character, and now the head of Marvel TV says Moon Knight is coming back doing something completely different. And I think, early theory, that something else is going to be the Midnight Suns project that we've been hearing about for a long time, for a couple years now, and not Avengers Doomsday or Secret Wars. Kevin Feige explained a long time ago that they wanted to have more team-up projects because there's so many big teams in the MCU that they could be doing that they haven't done yet. And a lot of them are intended for characters that aren't necessarily going to fit in a big Avengers movie. Really good example are like the Young Avengers characters. Like you can't do all those characters and give them a satisfying story while you're also trying to do everything else in Avengers Doomsday. Right now, Marvel's big priority in terms of what they're filming right now, like what they're working on, are the Vision TV show that's supposed to release next year, I think. James Spader is even coming back as Ultron finally for that in live action. Daredevil Season 2, they also said that they're releasing next year, big confirmation. We won't have to wait a billion years before seeing Season 2. Finishing their Wonder Man TV show, Ironheart, and the other shows that they're still releasing this year right now, like I said, that were made on the old method of how they develop TV shows and movies, and finished them all a long time ago, and they've just been sitting on a shelf for the last couple of years. Hopefully them polishing all that stuff the last couple of years made the shows as good as they want them to be. We will find out pretty soon. Apparently they're also trying to develop a big live-action Wakanda series, but it's not clear exactly what that would be and if we'd see the new version of Black Panther during that, because if they started making it in the next couple of years, by that time we'll probably have met the next version of Black Panther, which it sounds like is going to be an aged-up version of the baby T'Challa, like T'Challa's son, who's also named T'Challa. And they're trying to get Jack Schaefer, who just did Agatha All Along, she did WandaVision, to come back and do their Champion series, which is what they're calling the Young Avengers project right now. They've slowly been teasing that in the background the last couple of years. Now we kind of know what's happening with it. They're turning it into a TV series and they're just calling it Champions right now. I think mostly because they don't want to cannibalize the Avengers movie brand. And if it doesn't do well, like if it doesn't wind up working out, they don't want it to hurt their Avengers movie brand. And they just want it to feel like its own completely separate thing. So they're calling it Champions. Also, the team itself in the MCU, the way it exists, is a combination of the comic book Champions and the comic book Young Avengers, so it's not totally inaccurate to call it the Champions. But it would be a TV show. If that does happen, it won't happen till after Secret Wars, though. But everyone post all your reactions in the comments below. Are you sad they're not making some of this stuff? I am kind of bummed out that Henry Cavill is probably not going to show up in the MCU the next couple of years as some of these new characters. But it sounds like he's in such great demand that movie studios are having knife fights in the street over who gets to use him, so we'll be happy to see what he winds up actually making. Really excited to see what that Warhammer TV series winds up looking like in a couple years. Really big reminder though, there's going to be a bunch more Daredevil trailers in the next week, more footage. I'll try to do videos for that stuff. There was a new Thunderbolts trailer with some new scenes. I'll try to do a video for that too pretty soon. Be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss any of that. What a blast from the past. It'll be just like the old days making videos for the Netflix Defenders shows. Marvel also just revealed some crazier changes to the Captain America Brave New World post-credit scene that don't totally make sense. Click here to learn about those, and click here to learn about them bringing the Defenders back in the MCU during the Daredevil series. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.